Hello, Happy New Year. If you are new to this channel, my name is Lena, aka FREEBIES. I'm an online weight loss coach who is dedicated to calling out all the BS in the fitness industry and providing you all with accurate fitness, nutrition, and weight loss information. We need to talk about your New Year's resolution to lose weight. We just gotta talk about it. I'm gonna give you some tough love, but that's because I want you to succeed. Before we jump in very quickly, I just want to let you know that I am gearing up for a really exciting live masterclass on January 15th called The One Thing You Need to Achieve Sustainable Weight Loss. It's totally free, it's live, you can come get your questions answered. If you would like to attend or even just get a recording of that, I'm gonna need you to plug your email into the link that's gonna be in the description or pinned in the first comment. I will talk about it a little more as it comes up, but just wanted to let you know so you don't miss out. So the first thing that I want to touch on in this video, which is not the main focus of the video, is that a calorie deficit is how you're actually going to lose weight. So if you came to this video looking for like the practical how of me talking about a calorie deficit or like what diet or what workout program you should follow, that's not what this video is, but I'm going to lead you to the right one. So you can check out the videos in this calories playlist. You can check out the videos in this weight loss basics playlist. I think that's what it's called, or weight loss for beginners. And then I also have an entire playlist of reaction videos, and the reaction videos are an entertaining way for you to get information about my critiques and commentary on other people attempting weight loss, talking about how they lost weight, or talking about how they think you should lose weight. And chances are I've covered anything that you're considering doing in the new year when it comes to losing weight. This video is about like the big picture mistakes that I see a lot of people make when it comes to like executing whatever it is they're trying to execute, and I have 3 mistakes, followed by a solution for each one, and then an overall homework assignment, which I think will give you clarity on every single one and set you up to start getting success. Okay, so I have my notes here. So mistake number 1 is trying to do too much all at once, and I feel like New Year's time is notorious for this. People are notorious for this any time of the year, but New Year's is pretty like, okay, I'm gonna change my entire life all of a sudden, and that just typically doesn't work. Like if you Google statistics about how many people actually achieve their New Year's resolutions, it's a pretty tiny percentage, and I think this is a big reason why. So what doing too much all at once is going to do for you is make you overwhelmed, make you feel like a failure if you can't stick to this plan that you originally set out for yourself. And just a lot of times, yes, there are people who set out to like do the absolute most and it works, but that's not the majority of people. And I don't want you to feel bad if that's not you. When it comes to dietary things, being overly restrictive or trying to change too much of your diet leads to usually like overcompensation. Like I cut out this food for X number of weeks and you just fixated on that food the entire time, and now you're going to eat it nonstop for like 3 days, and then you're going to feel like a failure. When it comes to workouts, let's say you set this like amazing workout program that like on paper is going to get you results, but turns out it just doesn't work for you. Either you don't enjoy the exercise, it's too much, like you aren't able to at this point in time. Even maybe eventually you could get there, but right now it's too much. And week after week of failing and not being able to succeed at this program that you set out for yourself is going to wear on you, and you're going to feel like a failure. And that's no fun. Who wants to continue doing something when it constantly makes them feel like a failure? I think New Year's is also notorious for like challenges. Like I keep seeing everybody saying, I want to do 75 hard. And if you want my commentary on 75 hard, I reacted to Hope Scope's video about how she did 75 hard and what her results were and what her experience was like. But I'm not a fan of 75 hard. I would never do it myself. It's advertised just quickly as like a mental toughness thing. So it's really not necessary if your main priority is weight loss or physique transformation. And it's very likely going to burn you out or make you feel like a failure because you can't do it. And so I've been seeing this trend from a lot of great like influencers who understand that 75 hard is probably not the right fit for the majority of people, and they're doing things like a 75 like soft challenge or a 75 balanced challenge. And what I would probably personally do is like a 90 balanced, and I would break the 90 into like multiple phases of like what you're going to focus on. So let me elaborate on this a little bit more. This is the solution, whether you do like a 90 balanced kind of challenge or you just utilize this as your strategy moving forward and you're not going to give it a name. I recommend really focusing on building habits gradually. slowly. That's how you're really going to get success long term. Because what happens when people get overwhelmed and they quit and then they overcompensate or binge is they end up right back where they were. And this is what I'm going to talk about actually in my free masterclass, like extensively, is this like thing that so many of us fall into where we get the results and then we gain it all back. And then we get the results and we gain it all back, and how to stop that from happening. Because that was me, and I know it's a lot of you as well. So gradual habits. My advice used to be just like pick like 3-ish habits, master those first, and then add habits onto that. But we're taking it a step further. I saw this TikTok that I really, really liked. We're gonna watch it together really quick so that I can explain this.
Day 30 of changing my life in 60 days. The other day I spoke about the 2-minute rule and how we use this to establish a habit and make sure we show up every day. You can combine this 2-minute rule with a technique we call habit shaping. This is where you start by mastering the first 2 minutes of the smallest version of the behavior you're trying to achieve, and then you advance to the next step and repeat the process until you reach your ultimate goal. So here you can see if your ultimate goal is becoming an early riser, you can break it down into these 5 phases, and each time that you achieve or master one phase, you move on to the next until you achieve your ultimate goal. Breaking a habit up into smaller, easier changes makes us more likely to achieve the end outcome.
Okay, I love that. Let's recap because she was talking pretty fast. Basically, you were gonna master, she said, the first 2 minutes of a habit, and then once you master that, you're gonna add on to that. So not only are we not trying to add in a million different habits all at once, like we tend to do at New Year's, we're also breaking the few habits that we're trying to master down into like steps. And she referenced a book. It was really quick, and she didn't actually say the name, but it was at the top of the page. It's this book, Atomic Habits. And the whole idea, atomic, teeny tiny, the whole idea is that you implement tiny little things on a regular basis that compound into like incredible results. It's kind of like investing your money. Putting little bits in over time and allowing that time to compound them is going to get you crazy, amazing results. Same concept. He said atomic habits are the compounding interest of like changing your life, basically. And I have to admit, I bought this book and I read a little. And then I got overwhelmed because I was trying to take notes on every single page. And I just felt like I needed to wait to read this book until I was ready to get as much out of it as possible, but I just need to let that go and I need to read it. So I think if you open this book, you're gonna start getting value on the first page. And after seeing this TikTok referencing something more farther than I got, you can see, makes me wanna read it even more. Okay, so the solution to making the mistake of doing the absolute most and getting overwhelmed and wanting to quit is building gradual habits. And I'm gonna give you a little homework assignment at the end that I think will help you kind of get there and conceptualize this and make this start to happen for you. But for now, we're gonna move on to the other mistakes. So mistake number 2 is having unrealistic expectations and being too outcome focused. And this is also super, super common. Obviously, you're doing this because you wanna lose weight, and so you wanna make sure you're actually losing weight and the focus is weight loss, but that can kind of get you in a spot that's not the best. First of all, and this isn't even really what this mistake is about, but if you have unrealistic expectations, like you expect to lose weight really quickly and it doesn't happen, which I don't blame you, the industry, social media, everything is kind of like priming you to believe that this could happen really fast. And if you're not doing it really fast, like something is wrong, which is not true. Slow and sustainable is always the way to go. We're talking about this in the free masterclass, link to enroll in the description, pinned in the comments. But also, you might have unrealistic expectations that like your end goal is gonna look like somebody else's, where they are. I did a consultation one time with a woman who said because I like to get an idea of what someone's goals are before I give them advice about how to proceed. And she said, I want to look like this person. And it was an influencer who's like made all of their money, like hundreds of thousands of followers, maybe millions, I don't remember. And their entire job was to be a fitness expert or like a, looking a certain way expert. And their whole life revolved around the way that they looked. And so you have to really think about like, if that's realistic for you. Your job likely doesn't revolve around those same things. You have a separate life, a separate job in addition to these goals. Not even to mention that you are likely never gonna look like somebody else because we're all very different. Even if you ate the same, if you exercised the same, if you lived your life exactly the same as that other person, chances are you're still not gonna look like them because you're a different person. I've said this before in another video. I don't remember which one. My body goals used to be Gabby Cheyenne. I mean, still, if I'm being honest, like her quads, beautiful. My quads aren't built like that. I'm ham and glute dominant. My quads are always going to be tiny. I used to never wear shorts because I was sad that I had chicken legs. It's a little ridiculous. We all have our insecurities. But I would be absolutely miserable if I went my whole life chasing quads like Gabby Cheyenne because it's not in the cards for me. So set up to be the best version of you, whatever that looks like for you. Little mini rant there. But the reason we're talking about this mistake is because being too outcome focused can also set you up for failure, in that when the expected outcome isn't happening the way you want it to, we get frustrated and maybe self-sabotage, we quit, we do drastic things to try and make that result come on the timeline that we expected. That's all problematic. I'm gonna reference that Hope Scope 75 Hard video again. In that video, I think she said in like the first 30 days, she didn't see results, like pretty much at all, physically, about her weight or the way that she looked. And if she had been too outcome focused, and I guess that's the benefit of the 75 hard thing, is like it forces you to stick to it for a long enough time to where you're likely to see results, but that's probably the only benefit of a challenge like that. Anyway, she ended up being very behaviors focused, and the outcomes that she was excited about were other things. I just hit my mic. Not just so focused on the way that her body looked or what happened on the scale. She deemed success as hitting those targets for the 75 hard challenge, the behaviors that would eventually lead to the result that she was looking to achieve. And she viewed success as kind of ticking off those boxes, but also she was excited about gaining strength in the gym. Like, oh wow, last week I could lift this much, this week I can lift that much. It's important that your whole entire like weight loss journey doesn't revolve around weight loss alone. And it's kind of gonna go into the third mistake. But anyway, the solution is focusing on behaviors more, or at least equal, than focusing on outcomes, because you can't snap your fingers and look a certain way. You can't snap your fingers and make the scale do what it wants. You only have control of the behaviors. That's all you have control over. So just focus on that. You have to focus on what's in your control, and the results will come. I say this all the time, weight loss does require a little bit of faith. And so I have another TikTok that I love that I want to watch with you right now to kind of illustrate this.
If I were starting my 100-pound weight loss journey all over again today, this is exactly how I would start. I'm guessing if you want to lose 100 pounds, you've probably tried to lose the weight before. The first thing I'm gonna tell you to do is don't even try. And I'm serious, if I were starting my weight loss journey all over again, I wouldn't even try to lose the weight. The very first month, do not focus on losing weight. Instead of trying to lose the weight, cutting out foods and doing all of that, instead, what I want you to do is focus on adding 3 new habits that are good habits that will naturally lead you to lose weight. Okay, these are the 3 habits that I would start with. Number 1, start drinking water. If you're somebody who doesn't drink a lot of water, I do not want you jumping in cold turkey like trying to drink a gallon a day, but I want you to work your way up to that. Start with something that's a little bit challenging, but you know if you worked hard, you could definitely accomplish that. This might be like 60 ounces of water. Heck, it might even be 8. If you're not used to doing it, you want to get in the habit of just starting to do it.
Okay, it's a longer video, so we're just gonna watch that part, but bonus points because she's talking about gradually building up your habits instead of jumping in all at once. So love that that connected to the first one. But she's also very clearly saying, I lost 100 pounds, and if I could start over, I would not be so weight loss focused in the beginning. So food for thought. And now, mistake number 3 is that you're doing it for the wrong reasons, or you don't know why you're doing it. And you're not really focusing on the mindset of it all, of like the other aspects of this aside from just the number on the scale or the way that you look. And you might think this is dumb. And if you've been here before, you've probably heard me talk about like your why and why that's important. But you might be like, oh, that's so dumb. Like I want to lose weight because it's going to solve all my problems. Or like you in your head have a very like, it's like obvious why you want to lose weight. But I really challenge you to sit down and think about it and really like just really get it down on paper. I'm a huge fan of journaling things out, but ask yourself why over and over and over again until you get to the really deep rooted reason why you actually want to or need to lose this weight. So like for example, I want to lose weight because I want to look better. Why do you want to look better? Why is that actually important for you? What is that going to do for your life? And I don't ever want to be the person to tell you like your reasons for losing weight is not good enough. I just want this to be very meaningful to you. And I want you to feel super connected to why this is going to change your life, because that's going to help you stick to this whole journey if you really, really understand the importance of it in your life. If you want to get a flat stomach just for the heck of it, it's going to be a lot harder to stick to it. And I'm going to give you this example. When I was in high school, I was like, I'm going to graduate high school with abs. And I can tell you, I worked out maybe twice in order to achieve that and did nothing else. And that was because I was doing it for literally no reason. I was like, I just want to have abs by the time I graduate. I didn't really think about why that was important to me. And then I ended up doing a bodybuilding competition in my junior year of college. So this is like 3-4 years later. And I got like the craziest abs of my life prepping for this bodybuilding competition. And you want to know why I succeeded that time? Because I was excited to do the journey of it. Of course, it resulted in me getting on stage and looking a certain way and having people judge my body, which is like pretty weird. But the reason I did all of that in the first place is because I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to see what I was capable of. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do something like that. I could be dedicated to something. It really wasn't about placing at a certain place in that competition. I don't want to go into too depth with it because this is not about me. This is about you. But two, I guess, goals or outcomes is like, I want abs, and abs is a part of the process. But two very different approaches, two very different reasons why. And the other thing that I need to say about this, of why it's problematic, is that a lot of us think that losing weight is gonna just solve our problems. Like, I'm gonna be happy once I've lost weight. I'm gonna, whatever, once this has happened. We're notorious for this. I'm notorious for this. This is actually part of my own personal New Year's resolution goals, to not wait for things, checking things off for something else to happen or to feel a certain way. This is something I'm really working on for the new year, so I'm not acting like I'm perfect. But what I see with weight loss specifically is a lot of times, and I feel like a lot of you might not believe me when I say this, but I've seen people who have lost a bunch of weight who have said, all their insecurities, the way that they felt about their body was still there at the end of that weight loss. It didn't fix anything. It's not going to solve your body image issues. It's not going to solve your confidence issues. It's not going to change the way that you feel about yourself, most likely. It's a part of it. I'm not going to lie. I think losing weight is a part of that. If you're struggling with confidence or body image, losing weight will be a piece of that puzzle, but it's really not the whole thing. And so if you ignore fixing those issues, you risk doing all this work to lose weight and then still not being happy afterwards. And if you go back to why you're doing this in the first place, chances are it's because ultimately there's happiness or health or some other deep reason why you're doing this. And you just want to make sure that you actually accomplish that by the end of this. It would break my heart if you didn't. Okay, so now I'm giving you a homework assignment, and I think this is going to solve all your problems, not to be dramatic. This is a homework assignment that I have in my weight loss course for my weight loss students. It's in the very first module because it's very important, and I want you to just have this at top of mind as you're beginning your weight loss journey. By the way, after the masterclass, we're using the masterclass to kick off open enrollment for my course. So if you do find yourself interested in having some support on your journey and not wanting to do it yourself, my course will be opening for enrollment, and I would absolutely love to have you. But anyway, this homework assignment is called Your Ideal Life. And so what you're gonna do is really, really clearly, specifically, be very, visual, add lots of detail to make it feel I want you to feel it. I want you to feel it. When I've done this exercise in the past, I've cried because it was so just So I'm gonna have you journal out a day in your life, a year from now, 5 years from now, whatever you want to do. And this is an ideal day, in your perfect life. And you can make this just about weight loss, or you can make it about other things. If you have other things that you want to improve in your life, and that will make it more meaningful for you, it's kind of up to you there. You're going to go through the day. For me, it's I wake up in the morning. I smell this smell. This is how I feel. For me, I'm struggling with health issues. I never wake up feeling rested. I'm literally always exhausted. So I would say I wake up feeling well rested. And literally recount your day, specifically, details. And this is going to make it feel more real for you. It's going to make you be really connected to your why. So if you come up with a reason why, I want to lose weight because of X, that's cool, but does that motivate you? When you just say okay, yeah, that's important to me, or when you read out the possibility of what your life could look like if you accomplish these things, That's motivational. That's going to get you off your butt if you're struggling with motivation. It's also going to make you realize that like if you don't do these things now, you're never going to get there. Okay, so you're going to do that for your entire day. And then what I want you to do, we're taking this a step further. You're going to go in there and you're going to take 3 highlighters or colored pens or something to just kind of like differentiate this stuff. So in the first color, you're going to go through and highlight all the habits that you're already doing, all the stuff that you're already doing in your life that kind of works in your ideal life. Like, let's find the similarities. That might make you feel a little bit better that you're not as far off as maybe you think. With this second color, you're going to highlight things that you could start implementing now. Those easier habits that you can start to build on gradually to get you closer to your ideal life, to get you closer to your ultimate goals. And the third color we're going to use is highlight things that are not going to be your focus right now, but are going to be the next steps once you master those second color items. And I absolutely love habit trackers. You can find free downloadable ones. You can make your own on Canva. A lot of planners come with them. And if you want to feel better about yourself, I love checking things off. It does make me feel good about myself. I personally would add all the habits that I'm already doing. So I just like, get some check marks to make me feel better about myself. And then I'm also going to add 1, 2, 3, depending on what you feel like you can handle, of those second color habits that you're not doing right now or you're doing kind of inconsistently that you could definitely start implementing. And then for each of those habits, you can go and kind of on a separate thing, write out the gradual step by step of how you're going to break that habit down into easier ways to do it. That TikTok we were talking about, what Atomic Habits talks about. So like if you're really nervous to show up to the gym, your first mastery is going to be driving to the gym or walking to the gym, just getting to the gym and maybe walking inside, getting on the treadmill and just scoping everybody out. No pressure. Or even like going into the locker room and sitting in the sauna or something, like just making a habit of like showing up at the gym, even if you're not working out at all. And then you can implement things kind of as you go. So how is this homework assignment going to solve all your problems? Let's talk about mistake number 1. It's going to prevent you from doing the absolute most. It's going to keep you focused on the behaviors. I was just checking my notes. The behaviors, which was mistake number 2, being too outcome focused and not being focused on the behaviors. And for mistake number 3, that ideal day in your life is going to help you be super connected to the reason why you're doing this. It's going to help you make sure that you are also making progress towards that why while you are embarking on achieving the outcome. So if your why is that you want to be more confident and you want to improve your body image, and as you're losing weight you notice that you're not making the progress, you're not feeling any better, that's kind of a sign that you need to reevaluate your strategy for accomplishing that why, and that maybe weight loss is a piece of it, but there's other things that you need to do, which is something that I talk about in my course, like how to address body image in addition to losing weight. So anyway, this ended up being longer than I wanted. As usual, I talk too much, but I hope this was helpful, and I really hope that I see you on January 15th at noon Pacific Standard Time at my free masterclass, the one thing you need to achieve sustainable weight loss. Okay? Happy New Year. Good luck. I hope you stick around. Hit that subscribe button. Feel free to comment. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.